and suddenly it's 1970.
All over again, but I'm missing the mustache.
No, this is a picture. You guys leaning against the gas there. You know?
We're all in breath.
Yeah.
This slingshot. So, all right. So obviously, the Eagle has landed, and now the fun begins. You guys ready?
Fun!
Fun, fun!
Ew!
So I spent yesterday and this morning cleaning the shop in preparation for this. And then as soon as the car showed up, I realized, oh my God, the shop is filthy. And there's a zone, okay? And I was just trying to explain it to these guys. There is a zone that you have to be in and a mindset that you have to have anytime you deal with something that burns nitro. Because as I explained before, nitro operates in its own environment. It's completely different than, let's say, a pro mod car or a pro stock car or anything like that. Nitro operates in its own universe, its own realm, right? It's hard to explain unless you've been there and done this stuff. It's hard to explain. There's a certain mindset and there's a certain, how can I explain it to you? It's like a zone. It's a zone that you have to be in order to do this stuff correctly. Now, to best explain that, it's like this. The cars have to be serviced out in the most brutal conditions, right? Unpredictable conditions. There's you know, dust storms and hail and you know, just stuff, right? The environmental hazards that you come across servicing these cars at the track. So to counteract that, you have to make sure that everything is meticulous going into it, right? It's not like servicing a regular car, right? It's not, hard to explain. It's a zone you have to get into. So that's one of the things. I have to get myself back up into the zone, and I've got to like bring these guys along
into that space-time continuum
thing, so that we're all on the same wavelength and we can all, you know, work together and accomplish this. And we were just talking about this. Jeff doesn't know it yet, right? But our goal is to crank a 200 mile an hour eighth out of this car, which I know it can be done. You know, it's been done before. So that's the goal. We're going to try to get a 200 mile an hour eighth mile pass out of this car. Beyond cackle, beyond just a. You ready for that?
every time it amps up a little bit, and then it's going to be war in the woods.
Well, yeah, and eventually we'll take this thing with some no preparation.
Step at a time, step at a time, step at a time.
Yep. But yeah, that's our goal. We're going to try to peel off 200 mile an hour, 8th mile pass with this. When an IMO to 8 has been done, I know this has been done.
The car ran, I found it online. I forget what, a drag list or whatever. I think it ran 218 something. In a quarter.
That was
years ago, yeah, back in the 70s.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Right now,
or 69, I think.
We have the benefit of knowing, you know, we have traction these days.
Yes.
And there's all sorts of stuff that'll help this car achieve that goal with a minimum of craziness. So, and that's the thing. The smoother they run, the easier they run, the faster they go. It's really that simple. It's just getting a handle on it. So as I was saying, I spent lots of time cleaning the floor and everything else, and now the car is here and it's like, oh my God, what a pigsty. So there's going to be another round of cleaning before I actually start putting hands on this car. So here's what we got. Jeff supplied us with some really nifty air jacks. That's swanky stuff, Jeff.
It was the best thing I could find. I shouldn't say the best thing, but the easiest. And I figure if we're going to be taking this thing up and down, you got to do something fairly fast, and yeah, it works good.
So we've got front and back jacks, and this thing is a really nice work height. This is about perfect. Now I've got a list. Here, let me come around here. I started making a list because everybody has things to do. And right now mine is to clean, organize, and figure out exactly what we've got inside this engine. And we'll go through that in detail over the next couple of weeks. But for right now, we've got, look at my handwriting. Okay, so for Dr. Art, and you'll be following, so okay, I'm gonna do the major installments on this, obviously here on this channel, but there's gonna be a bunch of sub videos that go along with it. So Dr. Art is going to handle these things over on his channel. So we're going to want Dr. Art's Hot Rod Rehab. So you'll want to go over there and each of these steps. We're going to cover everything. Before we're done with this video series, anybody who pays attention to this and watches it all the way through will be able to successfully operate a fuel car. God help you. So Dr. Art has got to work on getting the fuel tank cleaned. So now let me stress the importance of a clean fuel tank. And I was trying to bring these guys up to speed on this.
Show them that little.
Where's that little bit of debris?
Well, you can. I mean, you can use
Anything,
Anything.
right there.
Anything,
That'll do
right-
it.
right
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Okay. So here, you see?
Here. Point of a
I
pen.
can't focus it enough. Yes. Okay. See that right there? Okay. That'll kill this thing, right? A little bit of nothing. Okay, a little speck of nothing that finds its way, let's say, to a nozzle during a critical point. Well, let's say where there's a lot of load, a lot of RPM, will hurt the engine. At minimum, it'll take out a piston. At maximum, it comes all apart. So the level of meticulousness that has to be gone through. This is the difference between nitro, messing with nitro, and messing with any other type of engine. The level of meticulousness is over the top, and you have to be very cautious, double check, triple check, everything. So one of the first steps here now is the tank's got to be taken off, taken out, cleaned out. Dr. Art will handle that. The rest of Dr. Art's list. There's a lot. Okay.
Here, I'll.
Yeah.
You hold. I'll read.
You'll read?
If I can read your writing.
You can't read my writing. You want me to read my writing?
No, I got it. Fuel tank cleaning. The fuel tank needs a vent put on it.
Yes. So here we have this little nub that's blocked off with decaying rubber. I'm afraid every bit of rubber on this car is going to be like this. This is a vent line, but I don't know how it's constructed inside the car or how this is going to be run yet. But we're going to leave that to Dr. Art, and he's going to fabricate some kind of vent.
And then we're going to do a fuel shutoff. And to go along with the fuel shutoff, there's a cable for the fuel shutoff, which we have to get and handle and everything.
Right. So the fuel shutoff gets mounted to the pump, right on top of the pump, and we have the actual fuel shutoff, but we're going to have to mount a lever in here someplace within easy reach of Jeff and to operate that. The fuel shutoff is super important on nitro. When these things are hot, so let's say like after a run, you can't shut it off with the magneto because it'll just run like a diesel. So the fuel shutoff is really important.
Little things like that. Throttle cable. We don't have any way to open the contingencies up. So
Right, and this is coming off of here. This we're going to use the bug catcher on here. So, but either way, we still need a throttle cable.
And then brakes, because presently there are brakes
Zip.
present, but they do nothing.
We have just the empty.
Yeah, you roll and pull and see,
Right,
nothing
there's-
happens.
Right.
So we'll figure out all the brakes. The full rear and the clutch. Once you do that, the clutch, because right now it's a beautiful clutch can, but it's empty.
Yes.
So Jeff's going to source a clutch. We'll get the clutch all set up. The chute is mystery. Could be newspaper. Could be mothballs. Could be. We don't know yet.
There's something in there.
Yeah, when we'll get into that, and we'll get one that's up to date and safe and made for the weight of the car, the speed, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. We'll source that out, and then once we change the hat, we have our blower tray, and we'll make a custom blower tray for things, small maintenance. You put the blower tray on top when you do, just between your own plugs and things like that.
Right. So.
And then, Mr. Jeff, you want to go over your list?
I got all the really tough stuff. Got to get the oil,
Yes.
which Tony knows what he used back in the day, but we don't know if that's the best
I
now.
have no idea what they use today.
So we got to find out what that is. I've already got the nitro, got 100 gallons of nitro, but we need to get alcohol. I'm going to pull tools together. I got lots of tools back at my shop in multiple places over the years, like so many people collect tools. I got to pull different tools, and we're going to need multiple sets for the different spots on the car. The clutch, we got to figure out a coupler for the clutch, right? Mm-hmm. The chute and plugs. So I got the easy one.
That list is going to get long.
Yeah, I know it will.
The tools are really important. So every station on the car needs to have its own dedicated tools. You can't be swapping tools from, you know, from the blower hat to the clutch or anything like that. So we need this tray here, the hat tray. This is going to go up here as he just showed, and in here is going to be our spark plugs, warm-up plugs, run plugs, and then all of the various tools we need to undo fuel lines, unbolt the blower, all of that, all goes on the top of that. Then we've got this tray back here, so all of the parts, all of the nuts and the bolts and the tools and whatnot that come off the clutch can end up in that. The coupler, all of those, anything that's over here ends up in that tray. Then we've got a cookie tray for the bottom. Where is it? Right there. Boy, that is
Pretty shiny, right?
Yes.
Doubles as a mirror.
So in here will be everything you need for to take the oil pan off, drop the rod bearings, the main caps, all of that stuff is going to be in that tray. And what else? And then here we're going to have a general tool tray, because once the hat tray, once the top end of the motor is taken apart, then this is the tray that you're going to work on to service everything else. So everything you need to take, let's say the cylinder heads off, and well, just anything is going to end up in this tray. So each of those stations needs to have its own, you know, whatever ratchets, whatever open ends, box wrenches, whatever you're using to service whatever particular part of the car, it's going to end up in one of those trays. So Jeff's going to take care of that too. I didn't prepare any of my own tools. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's like my stuff is so janky, right? Because what do I do? I'm a YouTuber. I don't build race cars. My days of drag racing are way, way, way behind me. So I'm a YouTuber, and I just do, you know, the kind of silly stuff that we do on this channel. So my stuff is so janky, so dirty, so I don't dare touch this car with any. I got some good tools at the house, but I don't have anything here. This is all like marketplace, you know, specials. And then of course we're gonna have to go over the whole car. This has got a pretty unusual front end. Back in the day, the NHRA specified that these cars had to have a front suspension. So most of them had, they used a Volkswagen torsion bar that ran in a tube that went across over here, and then the front axle would have two arms on it, and it would be suspended by that. This one here has a double torsion bar, and here's an adjustment point for it over here. And you also notice it's got two radius rods on one side, and it's got a single radius rod on the other side. So it's an interesting front end, and I don't know if you can see how, yeah. At rest, it's a little twisty, but that's probably, however they ran this car last back in like 1971, the preload was set for the conditions that they ran it last, and I have no idea if that's going to be viable today, but it'll be fine. That'll be fine. As we send Jeff for the ride of his life. Go, baby.
Don't worry, I'm standing here watching you. It's okay.
Yeah. I'll have my fingers in my ears. I'll be squinting. No, I would never do anything.
I trust you.
Yeah, that would the potential of anybody getting hurt. So that's it. Like, that's the update on this thing for right now. Over the next day or two, I'm going to pull everything off the top of the engine, and like I said, I'll bring you guys up to speed on everything that we find and all of that. And in the meantime, Dr. O will get started on his list, and he'll bring you up to speed on all of that on his channel, Dr. Art's Hot Rod Rehab. And Jeff doesn't have a channel. You don't have a channel, do you?
Nope.
You should have one. Man.
Got enough other stuff to do. I'm already too busy.
I'm such a terrible YouTuber. I'm just looking, and I've got this thing.
I'm getting close to retirement one of these days, guys. That's why I'm working on this thing. I don't have time to do YouTube channels. So
you're a smart man. Goes for you to
I don't know if
YouTube.
I'm a smart man. I'm going to get in this 50-year-old car. Now I found out I'm going to do 200 maybe.
Yeah, no, it's nothing. It's
I
nothing.
know that.
Fine, it'll be fine.
Yeah, right.
There's
Famous
not
last words.
Not a single thing
Hold
that can
my
go wrong.
beer.
Yeah.
It's trust me, guys, it's a lot less hairy than it actually seems. He'll get it once he gets past the initial, like, you hit the throttle and you go, whoa, what the hell was that?
That's what keeps me moving. That's kept me moving my whole life. Doing something new and going like, wow, got to do that again.
You know, that's the first time. You know, you go 3 feet with this and it's like, oh! And then the next time, you know, it's like, oh, okay, but is that all there is?
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, just repetitive after, you know, let's say 4 or 5 squirts, right? He'll be just
I've parachuted.
raring to go. It's like, wind me up and send me, baby.
I've parachuted a few times and the first jump out is really scary. But then it makes you want to go and do it a few more times.
I would never do that.
Yeah.
I won't even fly in planes, much less jump out of planes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that's the update on Project Top Fuel. I think this is part 6 or 7. There's going to be a lot of parts of this by the time we're done. Is that it?
Yeah,
That's it.
I think that's it for right now. And this is going to be a good one, folks.
I'm excited.
It's going to be different. Where are you, Jeff? Oh, there you are.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm excited.
All right. That's it, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.